Mika Frankl, joined by Ryan Couture. Sir, thank you for the time. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
Got another Bellator event coming up on the horizon and heading into a rematch. So, how did this rematch come together?
Shortly after my last fight, I got word that Haim was interested in doing the rematch, but doing it over in Israel, and I thought that was a cool opportunity, and obviously I liked the matchup. Felt like I performed well the first time, and don't see any reason a rematch would go any differently, and so figured it was worth jumping at.
With how you performed, with how dominant the scorecards were you surprised to have this presented to you as an option?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I guess I got to go out and do it even better this time. If he wanted to fight again, I must have left something on the table last time, or left some opening that he thought he could exploit. So, got to go out and be that much better, and hopefully put him away this time around.
How different of a fight do you expect this time around?
It hasn't been all that long, and we're both far enough into our careers that I don't see any major drastic changes happening. So it's just going to be a matter of, what tactical adjustments he makes and what ones I'm able to make myself more effective. And kind of we get to find out who learned more from the first matchup.
Coming off of a setback against Syed Awad, what kind of adjustments have you made?
Mostly, obviously disappointed in that outcome. Saw some mistakes that I made, things I could have done better, but just continuing to try and improve everywhere, really, in general, and then going back and rewatching the first fight with Haim, trying to see, where he had his moments of success and where I could have done things better, and trying to shore up my game and make sure that I'm more dominant this time around. So, definitely learned a lot in the training camp and from the fight against Syed, and I'm always trying to carry those lessons forward and continue getting better and evolving as a martial artist.
And what's your thoughts on this overseas experience? It's going to be, I believe, the second time in your career you're going to be fighting internationally.
Definitely it's a challenge dealing with the long flight. That's exhausting, and then adjusting to the time difference and all that. So, I've been trying to do my little bit of homework and figure out what things I can do to help alleviate some of those issues, but I don't foresee it being a big factor.
Were there any lessons learned, things that you took away from fighting in Sweden that you're able to apply this time going over to Israel?
No, I felt like, honestly, I felt physically fine that whole fight week. I think probably I could have done a better job trying to really fully get on that schedule right out of the gate. I think a little more discipline about getting straight in bed and getting straight to sleep when I first got there, and making sure I'm getting up and going to bed at more normal hours from the get-go in fight week might have helped some, but I didn't feel like that was really the deciding factor in that fight anyway. I think I'll try and do it a little better this time around, but I didn't necessarily feel like anything was too far off the first time either.
You've been in the combat sports arena a lot of your life. Will it be any factor going into a pro Gozali crowd? They go very hard cheering for him. We've seen in those Bellator events.
No, I mean, really my only concern about that would be if the crowd enthusiasm has an influence on the judging. I'd rather not leave this to the judges to decide. I feel some extra motivation to get in there and get a finish, just because I don't want to find out if that plays a factor in the scorecard. So, it'd be such a bummer to go all that way and put all this work in and end up on the wrong side of a close decision, or disappointed in how the scoring worked out. So I'd rather not leave it up to that. But other than that, I'm not too worried about it. I, for the most part, can tune out the crowd and don't hear much of what's going on anyway.
Gozali likes to grapple, so you're looking for a finish. Are you thinking this is going to be something more where it's going to come by strikes, or you think you'll find a submission?
I think more than likely, if I'm going to finish him, it's going to have to be strikes. He's got obviously great jiu-jitsu credentials. He's going to be a tough out. submission-wise. So I think the striking is going to have to at least set that up. So if I can break him down enough, striking standing, striking on the ground, beat him up enough, rough him up to where he wants a way out, then that's my best bet for potentially landing a submission. But more likely I see KO or TKO if I'm gonna get the stoppage.
Is it kind of, this is the fight where you have to stay in his face and almost try to break the guy to finish him?
Absolutely. I think that's the kind of style that works best for me anyway. I'm at my most effective when I'm putting pressure on and trying to break guys down, which obviously against some of these power punchers I've run into has worked against me because I'm really not wired any other way. But yeah, I think keeping the pressure on him and just continuing to try and hurt him at every chance I get in this fight is going to be the key to breaking him down and making him want to quit.
At this point, with being competitive, with being a martial artist, what motivates you? What gives you the greatest motivation?
Just every fight out, I get another chance to show all the hard work and show all the improvements I've tried to make here in the gym. And, I want to put my best foot forward and represent my team and myself and, show what we're all about. So that keeps me going is the opportunity to display all this work and all this heart and soul that I put into this sport and put into being the best I can at it. There's nothing worse than going out and feeling like I didn't perform to the level I'm capable of and didn't show people what we do here at Extreme Couture and what we're all about.
There's a lot of people who are martial artists that don't compete. What do you get out of competition?
I guess really just the chance to put all that training and put all those skills to the test and that's where you really battle test it and find out what works and what doesn't and continue to kind of steer the ship in your training. If you keep plugging away doing stuff in the gym but you never really find out if it's effective or not, then you don't know when it's time to adjust and what needs to be changed or thrown out.
Born into this sport and having been around it from so many different aspects throughout your life, is there ever too much MMA around you at one time?
Yeah, there are times where I kind of need to just kind of take a break from it and not focus on it too much. I definitely don't keep up with all the events that are happening as well as I used to. Just because I'm immersed in it day in and day out, I kind of get my fill and don't always want to take work home with me. So, there was a time where every time there was any fight event coming up, I was fired up and looking at who was fighting and how they matched up. And I don't really do that like I used to. So pretty much anymore, if it's not someone on my team or someone I know in some capacity, I don't get too motivated to keep track of what events are on the horizon.
And for you, as you've been through this ride, what's some of the best advice that you've been given?
That's a tough one. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. I feel like I get good pointers and good guidance from my coaches and obviously from my old man all the time. And whether it's just by the example they set or by little coaching details about specific techniques or just by seeing their overall approach to the game, it's all very helpful to me. It's hard for me to really single out a favorite or a best piece of advice.
A lot of people would expect the answer to be your father, but who are some other people that have had some major influence on you as a mixed martial artist?
All the coaches I've had over the years. Currently my head coach is Eric Nixick. He's incredible at really getting me in the right mindset and helping fire me up and motivate me and kind of light that fire under my ass that I need. I took a lot of great lessons from Coach Follis that I still carry forward into my coaching and into my fighting career. And countless others over the years. I've been really fortunate to work with so many great coaches that have all kind of left their imprint on my game.
And last but not least, Ryan, what is it going to take to get your hand raised at Bellator 209?
Just got to be aggressive and fight smart. We know from the first go round kind of where I was able to dominate that fight and where he had his opportunities. So just got to keep continually creating those situations that play to my advantages, and keep the pressure on him. Try and wear him down and break him.
Real quick, how can everybody follow you on social media?
My Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook are all the same. It's Ryan D. Couture, so my middle initial in there, and you can find me on any of those platforms that you want to keep up with.
Awesome, sir. Do you have anybody you need to thank, shout out to?
Always huge thanks to my team here at Extreme Couture, and be looking forward to putting on another good performance for you guys and showing you what we're all about.
Ryan Couture, thank you for the time, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure.